Hi everyone, today's objectives is application of systems of equations. You can see the graphic in the left, there's an intersection point and that usually is called the break-even points in certain kind of situation. So we're going to introduce that and a couple other different types of word problems. So here is a system of equation is used when trying to solve a real world situation that has multiple variables. To solve a real world situation, 1. Define your variables. 2. Write a set of questions. 3. Solve the system of equation. Right now we only use 2 variables. There's problems that use more than 2 variables. Example number 1. Puzzle expert wrote a new Sudoku book. His initial cost was $864. Binding and packaging each book costs 80 cents. The price of the book is $2. How many books need to be sold to break even? And how many books are we talking about also depends on the cost. What we're going to do is look at the last sentence right here. Usually they are trying to tell you what you want to figure out. Now how many books means one thing we had to figure out, and then 2 is break even. That means where the cost point is. So the way to set it up, let x equals the number of books, because if we figure out x, we got the answer. And then y is equal the cost of everything. If they are evened out, then that means we found our break-even point. The number of books we don't know, but we know that price of the books that we are trying to make is 2x. So the cost of the book that can be produced is $2, but I don't know how many books I need to buy. That's called the number of books. Then the cost is just what that price is. And that has to equal to the cost of all the expenses has to equal to the cost also. So we are trying to make sure how much books you make equals to what you spend, the expenses. So that is going to be the setup amount, which is $864 plus every book is 80 cents. That means that breaking even is when those two things has to be the same. So because of that, we are going to set them equal to each other. Now since the y equal to something, y equals something, you really can use substitution to 2x equals 864 plus 0.8x. And then you just solve it. And when you solve it, you get minus 0.8 on both sides. I'm going to pause the video. You guys go ahead solve the equation. I solved the system. The system says x equals 720 and y equals 1440. So what if I want you to interpret what that means? You should understand 720, since it's x, is how many books it has to be sold. That is the break-even part. So that also means if you sell 720 books, you cover your expenses. Now, if they ask you how much money is at break-even point, the y tells you you had to spend $1,440 to break even. That's the breaking even point. If you make it 1,441, that means you make $1 profit. Let me write the sentence down for you. So for the explanation point, be able to explain, need $720 books to break even. The break even price point is at 1,440. So I do need that explanation when you're doing your problem. Example number 2. A poster for a film needs to have a perimeter of 300 inches. It also needs to have a height that is 4 times its width. What are the dimensions of a poster that meets this criteria? What you're going to do is you need to draw the picture and then decide what you want to do and how you set it up. So here is my poster. So this is the width and this is the length. So I am going to say my last statement, let W equals the width and the length is L. I usually like to use the letters to represent what I'm trying to say so that then I kind of also know what I'm talking about. The width is just W, but the length is going to be equal to height that is 4 times its width. So length is 4 times the width. There's also another thing is you have a parameter. Parameter means all the way around. So in this case, it's going to be L plus W plus L plus W equals 300. So that's going to be 2L. Actually, you can have 2W plus 2L equals 300. Since you notice everything could be in substitution form because L is already equal to 4W, you can substitute. So please pause the video, solve it, and we talk about our answer. L is 120 and W is 30. So for the answer, you should write down the width is 30 inches and the length is 120 inches. So let me write that down. Example number 2. The setup picture, a let statement telling me what the variables stand for, a set of systems, solve it, answer the questions. Example number 3. Two angles are supplementary. The larger angle is 48 degrees, more than 10 times smaller angle. Find the measure of each angle. I already put down supplementary angles are 180 degrees. Don't forget complementary, which is a C, are 90 degrees. First thing is we need to let our let statement. So let x equals the larger angle equals your smaller angle. And then because they are supplementary, the first thing you can already tell by the relationships is because larger angle plus small angle has to equal to 180 degrees. So let's write that down. That's your first equation. And second equation is right here. The larger angle is 48 is its equal sign. 48 degree more than 10 times the smaller one. I usually like to read backwards, so it's a smaller angle. So smaller angle is y. 10 times the smaller angle, that's going to be 10y. 48 degrees more, so it's going to be 48 plus 10y. X is going to be 48 plus 10y. So now you have the set of equation. Pause the video. You can solve it. I will probably solve it by substitution. And then we will come back talk about the answer. X turned out to be 168 and y equals 12. So now I'm going to put it in answer form for you. So for example number 3, again, understand the definitions. What's a supplementary angle? Let statement, set up equations, solving, explain your answer. Large angle is 168 degrees and small angle is 12 degrees. That's example number 3. Example number 4. A particular company sells only iPad $450 each and iPad minis for $300 each. They sold 30 total items for a total of 11,700. How many of each item did they sell? So you have to understand how many and how much. If you can understand that, they have different kind of situation. Ask yourself when you set up this kind of questions. So to start off, let x equals, so take a look at the question at the end. Right there tells you how many each item. X equals number of iPads. And then y is going to be the number of iPad mini. What you're going to do is you are going to try to figure out in between all the information. You have a particular company sells iPad. That is how much. Mini is how much. Because you notice the dollar sign. They say total is 30, but that's not a dollar sign. There's the dollar sign value, revenue. Okay, so that's how much. Right here, this is how much of each kind. How much is each kind? And this is how much altogether. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to put that as a sentence. The number of iPads. Well, to figure out how much it costs, you got to multiply. One iPad is, let's say, $450. Two iPad will be 100, 300. And then, so since we don't know how many, we're going to do 450x plus the mini is going to be 300y. That's however many iPad mini is. Then the total amount that you're going to give for both of them is 11700. Okay. And then you have x plus y equals 30 of them. Set up and solve. 18 iPads and then 12 iPad minis sold. Example number 5. Ann invested $12,000 in 2 bank accounts. One of the account pays 6% annual interest and the other account pays 5% annual interest. If the combined interest earned in both accounts after a year was $700, how much money was invested in each account? The last sentence, how much money invested in each account, that's what we're going to set it up. Our let statement, one of them equals money invested in the 6% account and the other one invested in 5% account. So I'm going to write that down. So now let's talk about setup. Ann invested $12,000. So that will be your first thing. Money invested in 6% and money invested in 5% together equals $12,000. So let's write that down. X plus Y equals 12,000. Then the next one, it says the ones that invested in 5%, the ones invested at 6%. Remember, percent has to be changed into decimal. So really, this is going to be 0.06. This one is going to be 0.05. If you have X, it's going to be 0.06 X plus 0.05 Y because that's the percentage in those money invested. And together, the interest is going to be 700. So I'm going to to put the 700 right here because those are the interest accumulated from each account. So now please solve it, and I will come back and talk about the answers. So just quick reminder, I wasn't sure that you guys understand how to solve this because it's decimal substitution, absolutely, but it might get a little bit messy. I would like to show you actually just one thing. The second equation has mostly 2 decimal places. So if I multiply the whole equation by just 100 all the way across, then I actually will have a set of equations that's 6x plus 5y equals 700 plus 2 more zeros. So 70,000 because it's times 100. Everybody have to multiply. You can bring down the other equation, you substitution, or you can do elimination. And in this case, maybe I should just finish it for you guys so you guys can see it. So I will take the bottom one and multiply by a -5. So 6x plus 5y equals 70,000 is, so you have 6x plus 5y equals 70,000. And when you multiply everything by -5 for the second equation, you will have -5x minus 5y equals -60,000. And when you add the two equations together, x equals 10,000. Above is x plus y equals 12,000. So I can plug it in. X plus y equals 12,000. And then x equals 10,000 plus y equals 12,000. And then if you want to do it in your head, I'm totally okay with that. You get 2,000. And that means you invested 10,000 in 6% and 2,000 in 5%. That concludes today's notes, and thank you so much for watching.